What's up? What's up, my eccentric family? How we doing this morning / afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at. Here in Ohio, it is 9:30 in the morning. I'm actually kind of awake, which is kind of a surprise. My dogs barked me up at about 7 o'clock this morning, which I'm sure for a lot of you isn't early at all. I get it. I'm lazy. What's up? Another Columbus person. Where's everyone from tonight? I mean, this morning. See, I already got my time all mixed up. Where's everyone from? Let me know. We got Columbus in the house. Japan, 11:31 p.m. Thanks for staying up, Japan. Okay. Cold and snowy, so nowhere near the equator. Another Ohioan. We got Germany, Finland, Oregon, Houston, Canada, Sweden, Norway, Chicago. Oh, I can't keep up now, you guys. You're killing me here. Texas, Florida, West Palm Beach. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Finally, we are back after over a 3-month lull, 3-month wait. Oh, it was brutal. It was brutal, but we made it. We made it. Well, so far we made it. This thing will launch, all right? Serbia, nice. Poland, Chicago, Chi-Town, Buffalo, San Diego, I lived there for a while. Denmark. So I found out just maybe 15, 20 minutes ago that SpaceX took down on their video description their writing that said that they were going to attempt to catch both fairing halves. And rumor on the street or on the seas is that the seas are rough because of the weather they're having down there right now in Florida, I guess. So it doesn't look like we're going to be catching any fairings this morning. All right, kind of sad, but we are still planning on watching a rocket fly. So that's the really important thing, right? Let me pull up my screen here. Okay, So this is SpaceX's YouTube channel, their video. It says they got 22 minutes till they go live. They'll go live a little before that. So we'll keep that up so you guys can help me keep an eye on it. Let me get myself positioned more accurately. There we go. Okay. So another me big. No, display big. There we go. Another thing you can keep an eye on. This is different, okay? SpaceX now has a SpaceX mission control audio. When I logged onto YouTube this morning, I saw this. I was like, what is this? So we're going to keep an eye on this as well and see what that's all about. Maybe we'll get a listen in on some pretty sweet dialogue. Another thing you should keep an eye on is SpaceX's website /webcast. Okay, this has their press kit that you can check out as well as the video or a link to this video. You click on that press kit and takes you to their typical mission log here, their itinerary, what's going to happen. So you can see here, I normally like copy and paste this and just put it in my video description. And you can see right here, approximately 45 minutes after liftoff, SpaceX's 2 fairing recovery vessels, Mystery and Mischief, will attempt to recover the 2 fairing halves. Well, that was put on their description right here, but now it's gone. It was right here, dang it, right after Ocean. Now it's gone. So I'm not expecting that anymore. Teardrop. Okay. For those of you that, excuse me, for those of you that are eccentric patrons, I am on Discord right now. We're on the Patrons channel on Discord. So if you have questions, you can hit me up there. Capiche? So let's take a look at some of this payload description right here. They are going to attempt to catch the booster, which is cool because it'll be a record number 4 for the Block 5. That's pretty crazy. So we're still setting records, yo. SpaceX developing a low latency broadband internet system to meet the needs of consumers across the globe. Enabled by a constellation of low Earth orbit satellites, Starlink will provide fast, reliable internet to populaces with little or no connectivity, including those in rural communities and places where existing services are too expensive or unreliable. Hey, come to Columbus, Ohio. I feel like everyone thinks their internet could be better, and that's true. Everyone's internet could be better. There's nowhere to go but up. Since the most recent launch of Starlink satellites in May, SpaceX has increased spectrum capacity for the end user through upgrades and design that maximizes the use of both Ka and Ku bands. Additionally, components of each satellite are 100% demisable and will quickly burn up in Earth's atmosphere at the end of their life cycle, a measure that exceeds all current safety standards. Okay, so yeah, since they brought that up, SpaceX did tweet out last night that it seems like they're expecting one of their Starlink satellites they're putting up today to not reach its intended orbit, so they may end up burning that one up in the atmosphere. I don't know if that's deliberate or what. It seems like kind of an expensive thing to just go, oh, we built this several $100,000 satellite, and if it may not work, we'll just let it burn up, whatever. But that's how SpaceX rules, so I wouldn't be surprised by that particularly. All right, moving down to the mission timeline. So this is how things are going to go. We have liftoff. I can't even remember the exact time now. Let me look at the video description again. 9:56 a.m. Okay, that's when they're targeting, and they don't have a huge launch window for this one. All right, it's like 15 minutes or something. So we'll have that, and we'll have liftoff, blah. They'll still catch the second or the first stage booster, like I was saying. They're not going to recover the second stage. That'd be cool, but they're not gonna. The Ocean will catch it, though. And then fairings deployed, blah, blah, blah. And then an hour after liftoff, that's when they'll deploy the Starlink satellites. And it should be cool. And the way they deploy them is they flip the second stage end over end, and then they release the satellites so they go whoosh. They make that sound in space too, whoosh. I'm just joking. All right, I can hear people getting mad right now. SpaceX is up. Why is my thing acting all crazy? Why are you scrolling? Oh, it's because I have the thing clicked. I am using new technology. I have a new computer that I built, my first PC I ever built. It's up and running. All right. And yeah, some of you, why is it acting crazy on me now? Stop that. Stupid mouse. Apparently I didn't build it right. I've been having troubles. I bought a wireless mouse too. I like wired things because they're more reliable. And it seems like my worldview is proving me right meow. SpaceX is live. Yep, we're there. So we're going to transition back to me for meow. So what's going on, y'all? Switzerland. I like your cheese. Do I have any mods in the house right now? Where are my mods? Anybody? I know we had one earlier. I don't know if he's still here. It's hilarious. People are like, hey, Kevin, add me as a mod. Add me as a mod, Kevin. And then no one shows up. I'm left to fend for myself. You guys see my dog? Probably not. Maybe move this out of the way. he's right there laying in the threshold. Hi, Gyro. He's keeping an eye on me, making sure I'm not getting too crazy. He doesn't really like it when I talk to myself, even though I'm talking to the camera and you guys. He doesn't like it. I'm surprised he's even here. Yep, puppy. I could remove slow chat or whatever that limits you guys to one chat per minute, but it seems like whenever I don't use it, people get mad because then people just spam and do stupid things. So we're gonna leave it up for now. What's up, Tyler? Love the channel. I love you. I don't know you, but I love you because you're a generous person. Thank you so much for the tip. Yeah, so I got my earbuds right here that I normally wear, but with my new rig, I don't have a headphone port that these can reach. So I'm using my Astros, my gaming headset. I got a mix amp right here, so like I got I got a long enough wire for it. Let's see if it works. It works. I can hear that. That's good. Hopefully you guys heard that too. Do I want to move to Mars someday? I wouldn't want to move there permanently, but I would love to visit. Because the thing is, like, I get it, man. Going to another planet, the journey, the adventure, it's awesome. But I think that would kind of wear off once you get there, just looking at red rocks all the time. I love Earth. Earth is beautiful. We got water, liquid water. We've got, yep, they're starting. We got a blue sky, nice sunsets, as you just saw there. We have rockets that we build. All right, animals. It's awesome. Mars would be kind of depressing to live there permanently, at least at first. Once they start getting pizza joints, sign me up, yo. All right. I'd love to go there and like come back after a month or so stay, but I wouldn't want to move there permanently. No spank you. All right. I want to hear what these guys have to say about the fairings.
You are looking at a live view.
Let me know if you need me to turn it up.
As it awaits its targeted 9:56 a.m. Eastern Time launch from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Good morning. It's November 11th here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. My name is Lauren Lyons, and I'm an engineer on the Starlink team here at SpaceX. In honor of Veterans Day, we would like to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to all our veterans at SpaceX and to those across the country.
Oh yeah, happy Veterans Day.
Thank you for all that you've done. And
I was going to say that and I forgot. I got nervous.
Every launch is an exciting launch, but today's launch represents some particularly notable milestones for SpaceX. First, today's launch will be the first time we're reflying a Falcon 9 booster for the fourth time. This booster previously flew on Iridium 7, Salcom 1A, and PSN 6. Following today's flight, we'll be attempting to recover it for a fourth time on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, out in the Atlantic Ocean. Second, this is the first time we'll be flying a recovered fairing. This fairing previously flew on the Falcon Heavy Arabsat mission earlier this year. And last but not least, of course, we'll be launching another 60 Starlink satellites to orbit. These 60 new satellites will make Starlink one of, if not the largest satellite constellation to date. We'll talk more about these new satellites later on in the webcast. Lots of exciting stuff going on for today's mission, but let's take a closer look at Falcon 9 on the pad. Right now, we are looking at a live view of Falcon 9, our 70.
I love that charred look, man. I want to model that charred like that.
The bottom two-thirds of the vehicle is the first stage, and this is what accelerates the vehicle through the Earth's atmosphere to the edge of space with the help of 9 Merlin engines. Today we're going to be flying this first stage for a 4th time and also attempting its 4th recovery on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is currently stationed about 340 nautical miles northeast of the Cape off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina. Above the first stage is the second stage, which has a single Merlin vacuum or MVAC engine, and that engine ignites after the first stage separates. The second stage is what will carry the Starlink satellites to an altitude of 280
the orbit must have kind of
above the
inclination
Earth's
to it.
And
they're going to catch the drone ship up by the Carolinas.
The satellites will use their onboard Krypton propulsion system to move up to their operational altitude of 550 kilometers. Now, the stack of those 60 Starlink satellites is safely tucked away inside the 17-foot diameter payload fairing, which is that part at the very top. Once we reach the vacuum of space, we will jettison the fairing as the second stage continues on its journey to orbit. And as I mentioned earlier, we are flying our very first reuse fairing, which is super cool because this is the first time anyone that we're aware of has ever attempted to refly a fairing. And for those of you who follow us, you know we've been working towards this milestone for a while, so we're super excited to finally try it. Now, we're not going to attempt to catch the fairing halves today as originally planned because the team had some concerns about stress to the ships in high seas prior to launch, but we're planning to retrieve the halves once they splash down in the ocean.
Yeah. That's how they retrieve the halves they're using right now. They fish them out of the ocean. They didn't catch them on the
My
drone
name is
ships.
Jesse Anderson, and I'm a lead manufacturing engineer here at SpaceX. All is looking good for an on-time launch of today's exciting Starlink mission. Falcon 9 rolled out to the pad with the payload last night and went vertical this morning. The chief engineer held a technical poll at T-minus 1 hour, and the launch director held a propellant load and launch go-no-go poll at T-minus 38 minutes. Falcon 9 has been loading propellant since T-minus 35 minutes, and currently our rocket-grade kerosene, or what we call RP-1, is nearly fully loaded on the first stage, and the second stage is already fully loaded. Liquid oxygen loading is currently underway on both stages. At T-minus 7 minutes, engine chill will begin.
Okay, we know all this stuff. Again, for those of you that are joining that are also Patreon members, you can check out the Patreon discussion channel on our Discord, and I can answer your questions. Jackson Calderwood, honorable mention to all the charred rockets. Yes, they look sweet, dude. I love it. I would love to have like a 1 to 110 scale model rocket. I have one actually. It's broken right now because when I stopped teaching last year, when I brought it home, I finally broke it. I've 3D printed it. But it doesn't look like this. It doesn't have the charring on it. I think that'd be a sweet model to own. I want one.
And then are released simultaneously during payload deploy, followed by orbit raising. Prior to orbit raise, SpaceX engineers will conduct data reviews to ensure the Starlink satellites are operating as intended. As we noted prior to the launch, we're keeping an eye on one of the satellites that may not orbit raise. If for any reason a satellite is not performing as expected, SpaceX will deorbit the spacecraft. The components of each satellite are fully demisable and are expected to quickly burn up in the Earth's atmosphere, a measure that exceeds all current safety standards. Once the health checkouts are complete, the satellites will then use their onboard ion thrusters, powered by Krypton, to propel themselves to an altitude of 350 kilometers. Now let's take a look at the weather. And it looks like we have some great weather this morning over there in Cape Canaveral.
Seas don't look that rough.
There's a very small chance of showers and some clouds with only a 20% chance of launch violation.
Right there,
so we will continue to monitor this all the way down to T-minus 0 to ensure that the weather remains good for launch, but it's looking great over there. The Air Force range is prepared to support today's mission. Waters are clear of any ships, and the range continues to ensure the safety of our launch. We are continuing to count down to liftoff, but if for any reason we do have to call a hold on today's launch, we have a backup opportunity tomorrow, November 12th at 9:34 a.m. Eastern Time. But at this time, all systems are go for an on-time liftoff,
I think they're like around
approximately 8 minutes from
something
now.
like that.
So for those of you who don't already know, Starlink is SpaceX's effort to bring high-speed, low-latency broadband internet to people across the globe particularly to areas where connectivity has been unreliable, too expensive, or completely
So if you
unavailable.
live in an area that has decent
satellite internet
connectivity, you
services
probably won't
today
be getting
come from
Starlink services for a
geostationary
while.
satellites, and those
I
are
know.
single satellites that orbit the planet at
Marine
about
Recon, what up,
50,000
bro?
kilometers,
Happy Veterans
covering a
Day.
fixed region
Use this
above
for a
the
new
Earth.
paramotor. Thank you.
Starlink
That
is
is
a
on my
constellation
shopping
of
list.
multiple satellites that orbit the planet
Long
at
term,
about
but it's I'm
550
saving up for
kilometers
it.
and cover
That
the
and a
entire
Tesla.
globe. And
So I got
because
some
they're
big
in such a low orbit,
I got some big
the
expenditures
round-trip data
coming up.
time between the user and the satellite, also known as latency,
I just had to put new
is
tires on
much
my car,
faster than with
so that
satellites that are in
sucks.
geostationary orbit.
I had to take out of my
Additionally, each
Tesla
satellite
funds for
performs
that.
autonomous collision avoidance maneuvers throughout its lifetime, so that they don't run into each other to create space debris. This is the first constellation to have this advanced capability. In addition, each satellite is
Oh, I
fully
missed what she
demisable,
said. I wanted
meaning
to hear
at the
that.
end of
Oh,
life,
I'll
the
have to rewind it
satellite's
later.
components are expected to burn up in the Earth's atmosphere. Low Earth orbit satellite constellations at this scale are incredibly difficult to build, but the performance of those initial 60 satellites that we launched back in May has been very promising. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, Elon sent a tweet using the Starlink network for the first time.
Yes, he
We
did.
still have a ways to go from
a
tweets
bragger.
to 4K cat videos, but we are on our way. Our goal is to start
4K
offering
cat
service in the northern United States and Canada as soon as next year, expanding to a global constellation after an expected 24 launches. Now, the team responsible for this enormous task is largely based in Redmond, Washington. The Redmond team, along with their counterparts across the company, there they are. Look at our team. Hi, guys. The Redmond team, along with their counterparts across the company, have implemented a number of upgrades for today's mission, including doubling the number of steerable phased array broadband beams, a 400% increase in data throughput per satellite, and the inclusion of a new Ka-band antenna system. Between the satellite upgrades, the first reflight of a fairing today, and this being the first fourth flight of a Falcon 9, there's a ton of cool stuff happening on today's mission. With
Yep,
Liftoff just
we know that. All right, so so I got the question, what's involved for today? So it's obviously a Starlink launch today. They're going to put 60 up. They're expecting possibly one of those Starlink sats to not raise its orbit. They'll have to deorbit it and blow it up in the atmosphere, which it's designed to do every 5 years anyway. This is Starlink Mission 1, Starlink 1, and that's because even though they did 60 satellites before, these are the first official, definitely not prototype Starlink sats, and they've been upgraded to have stronger connectivity, faster connectivity. Yeah, they're pretty sweet. I'm really excited for this. And we can get used to seeing them too. We should start seeing them really soon, launch about once every other week.
So let's go listen into the countdown.
Let's do, oh, dude, I forgot about. Let me minimize this really quick. Don't freak out. I want to listen to Mission Control. What's this all about? I don't hear anything. That's pretty cool, though. So this is SpaceX's other live video they got going on. I don't know why they... Well, no, actually, I take that back. I was going to say, I don't know why they don't do the dual camera thing, but they're doing this one just because they want the audio. So you can't do that if you do the dual cam thing. This camera's freaking out on us, though, so I don't hear anything. If you guys want to check that out, just check out SpaceX. I'm afraid if I run two live videos, then my broadband will start spizzing out on me. For a minute. Gosh, I love Florida. I want to go to Florida. I probably want to go to Florida more than I want to go to Mars, to be honest. I just got back from Disney World. Carrie took me to Disney World with her family. That was fun. I walked 30,000 steps on one day because Carrie loves Disney World that much. I don't even know if I walked that much in the military. I did it all in flip-flops too because I'm an animal. I love flip-flops. Any other flip-flop fans out there? That's hard to say. Flip-flop fans? Anybody a flip-flop fan out there? I wore them in the snow too. I've had people genuinely ask me if I'm okay. I walked in the grocery store once, and this lady that was on her smoke break working at the grocery store, as I was walking in the winter when it was snowing with flip-flops and like shorts on. To my benefit, I was coming from the gym, and she's like, "What's wrong with you? You trying to kill yourself?" I go, "You're smoking a cigarette, lady." She goes, "I know what I'm gonna die from." I'm like, "All right, you're weird." There's always that one guy wearing flip-flops in the snow.
Stage 1 launch.
That's me. I think everyone has their own weird thing that they do. You know, some people like to go poop in the girls' bathroom like Creed Branton, but I like to wear flip-flops in the snow. I got hairy hobbit feet, though, so I can get away with it. Didn't think you'd be listening to this kind of commentary, did you? All right, we got one other flip-flop wearer. Either that or he's talking about the poop thing. Yeah, but we just got back from Disney World, and we already have plans to go back to Disney World in May. Because, like, Carrie's family is a huge Disney family, and they own, like, stock in Disney and everything, so they have all these points and stuff. So they dragged me along, I guess, to put up with me. They can't leave me home. I'm not old enough for that. A dog's still laying back there. Yeah, you can't see him. He's not doing anything anyway. Man, it's a nice morning out. Look at that.
Stage 2 LOX load is closed down.
How many of you are at work right now watching this on work time? Admit it. Admit it now. To all the vets watching, my fellow veterans, happy Veterans Day. Make sure you get your free food, your free meals today. I checked it out this morning. They got Red Lobster. Red Lobster is giving away appetizer. And no, Red Lobster is not a sponsor of this channel. I just really love their biscuits, right? And you should too. So check it out, veterans and your veteran families. Get your free meals. A lot of people at work. Get to work. Lazy bums. I'm working right now. I love my job, for the record. It's amazing. I get to talk about SpaceX, and people have to listen. They don't have to listen. You could leave if you want, but don't.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Even if you're not an American veteran, if you're a veteran of a good guy country, if you're a veteran of like ISIS, you're not welcome here. But any other country, happy Veterans Day to you too. Thanks for serving.
LD is go for launch.
Go Navy. "35 seconds, guys. Here we go. Make sure this thing is live. We're red.
T-minus 30 seconds.
This is exciting. Finally. It's been a long time. It feels like it's been 12 months, not 3 months.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Here we go.
3, 2,
Come on, baby.
1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. With gratitude to our veterans today and always, go USA.
Yeah, I love SpaceX. USA.
Falcon 9 is pitching downrange.
Love that camera shake. I need to see a launch so bad.
Stage 1 profit nominal.
Look at that toothpick fly. Stupid clouds. There we go.
Power and telemetry is nominal.
We are T plus 55 seconds into launch, and we've had a on-time liftoff and a beautiful view of the Falcon 9 vehicle making its way to orbit. We are coming up in about 10 seconds here on max Q. That is the maximum aerodynamic pressure that the vehicle will see during ascent. We should be able to hear that call out.
Vehicle's experiencing maximum aerodynamic pressure.
And there's that call out for max Q. Coming up next is a rapid succession of events, starting off with main engine cutoff, or what we call MECO, followed immediately
I like watching
by
the
stage
plume
separation.
spread out
That's
as
the
the
separation of the first
atmosphere
stage
pressure
from the
gets
second
less
stage.
and less.
And then seconds after
It's fun.
will be the lighting of our second stage engine, which we call second engine startup, or SES-1. That
I
is coming
admit,
up
sometimes
here
when I
in
play
about
Kerbal
45
Space
seconds.
Program, I'll launch a rocket with no mission in mind or goal, just to watch
And
the
we've got a great
watch
view
the
this
engine
morning
plume
with some pretty
lessen and
clear
lessen,
blue skies,
and then
the earth
separate,
in the background.
and then I'll just hit escape and start over. I just like watching that stuff. I'm such a nerd. Yeah, max
If you're just
Q
now
is
joining
when
us, we are 30 seconds
the
away
density of
from
the
main
atmosphere
engine
and the
cutoff,
speed of the
stage
rocket kind of come
separation,
to a
and
head,
SES
makes the
1.
most pressure on the rocket. It's when a lot of rockets blow up, or at least used to. Right now we're looking at the inner
What
stage.
you see on your screen, you should be able to see the stages separate. About 10 seconds here.
Do it. Do it now. Oh, there you go. You can see the pressure.
Stage separation confirmed.
There, as you saw on your left screen, we had MECO and stage separation. On your right screen, we should see that second engine startup.
On the right-hand side of your screen, you might have saw like this ring off the tip of the engine
And there's
nozzle
that
kind
second
of break
stage
off.
engine
That is just for like
glowing bright red.
transporting purposes or something like that. It's nothing important. It's supposed to do that.
Coming up next in about 30 seconds is fairing deployment. Now, a reminder, this fairing is being flown for a second time, which is a first in SpaceX history. And what you can see on
It
your
worked.
screen on the left screen,
The
those
fairing
grid
worked.
fins have been deployed.
Even though they fished it out of a corrosive ocean, it worked. There they are. There's the Starlink sats.
And there
Tetris.
is our fairing
Separation
deployment.
confirmed.
This is the first reflight of our fairing, so such an exciting mission this morning already.
That's sweet. Yeah, so right about now is when I hit escape on Kerbal Space Program and just hit like
As the second
back to
stage
Launchpad
continues
and just
to
do it
orbit
again.
with those 60 Starlink satellites on top, stage 1 is making its way home for the 4th time. Now, stage 1 is going to execute 2 burns before hopefully it's standing there on our drone ship. The first one will be the entry burn, which occurs at about T plus 6 minutes and 23 seconds, so a little over 2 minutes from now. That's where we're going to relight 3 of those Merlin engines and slow the vehicle down such that it can safely re-enter the atmosphere. From there, the booster will coast for just under a minute and a half, and then execute what is called the landing burn. That is where we're going to reignite.
If I
this
talk while they're
single
talking
engine,
at this
that
volume,
inline
can you
engine
guys
right
hear
in the
me
middle
pretty
of the
decently, or
booster.
do I need to turn down
Slowing
their
the vehicle
volume?
down to
Or just
zero
not talk?
velocity, hopefully
Let me
standing
know.
right there up on the drone ship.
Since I got a new computer, I had to make new decibel adjustments on my OBS.
Meanwhile, stage 2
Still figuring it
continues
out.
to fly nominally. We're hearing that MVAC-D power is nominal and continues at full power. Stage 2 pressures, the tank pressures are nominal as well.
First and second stage are on a nominal trajectory.
I'll be quiet.
We're just over a minute away from that entry burn. Meanwhile,
Acquisition
stage
of signal,
1.
Bermuda.
Meanwhile, stage 1 continues to make its way down.
And I'm back because they're not really talking right now, so I'm going to talk. Thank you very much, Mike Sutherland, for that super chat,
That
bro.
MVAC engine
Elon is the man. He is the man.
Powering that second stage of those satellites with 250.
I don't agree with everything Elon does, but man, he is a businessman. I like where his head's at. He's trying to better the community. Actually, he's trying to better humans in general. So he's a good guy. He's a go-getter. I respect that.
Okay, we're coming up in about 20 seconds on that entry burn. You should be able to see that on the left side of your screen. Meanwhile, stage 2 continues to burn nominally.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
It's cool how you can see the booster react to the atmosphere as it falls back into it.
Stage 1 entry burn.
And as you see, that entry burn has begun. Should go
Zeke.
for another 5 seconds or so.
Enjoying 3 streams on 3 screens. You're my only audio. Wow. You're here for my
Stage 1
voice.
entry burn shutdown.
I can't sing, though, or I'd sing to you. Make it even
And as you
better.
just heard, we had a successful shutdown of
Thanks
that
for that,
entry
bro.
burn. So for about another minute and a half, stage 1 is going to coast, making its way down to the drone ship. And at
First
T+,
and second stage continue to follow a nominal trajectory.
and in just under a minute, that landing burn should start.
I hope we get some video. That would be nice. Even if they lose the connection with the with the GoPro on the booster, we might still get it on the drone ship. Usually that cuts out as the booster's
Stage
landing,
one
though, just
transonic.
because it's a pretty dank location when that thing's running, when that thing's landing. A lot of fire. The lawyer is doing lawyer things at lawyer work. She's not here.
Everything continues to be nominal on stage 2. And in just under 10 seconds, that landing burn should start. Hopefully we'll get some nice on-vehicle video.
Shout out to
Stage
SpaceX's
1 landing burn.
SpaceX fans, Uncle Scott. What up, Uncle Scott?
We don't have that video just yet, but that
I'm
landing
Monkey
burn
Kev Kev.
has started.
Second stage has entered terminal guidance.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
It looks like we're not going to get video
Here we
on the
go.
way down. Oh, but we have the drone ship. And
It was coming in hot there for a minute. I thought it was coming in too fast. I was like,
Time.
fourth time booster reuse.
These boosters are designed to be used 10 times. Let's turn it around for a 5th, guys.
Let's do it. Keep using it. Get to number 10.
Wow.
It was
Fourth
coming in
landing.
hot, dude.
That is super cool.
Literally.
So stage 2, I believe, we have
Oh, that's
Seco
cool.
1.
That's inside the tanks.
We're going to enter a coast phase. Before we do that, we're going to take a quick break. Sorry, it's very exciting over here. As we leave, we're going to have an animation that shows you where we are in the coast phase. But we're going to be back here at T plus 44 minutes.
Beautiful.
All right, we'll be back at T plus 44 minutes for a second stage relight, followed up by payload deploy. So come on back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll stay right here and wait for you. And let's transition to my ugly furry face. Okay. So, actually, let's just go straight up me. Kai Achim Krop. Again and again, an unbelievable cool sight, right? Yeah. It's crazy how, for the last couple years, it's become commonplace. Oh, cool. I mean, we all love watching a booster land on a drone ship or a landing pad. But if we're honest with ourselves, we did for a while there get to this point where we're like, okay, yeah, we love watching it, but it's not like shocking anymore. I mean, landing a booster, which was thought impossible a decade ago, is like, meh, not even a decade ago. But I think since we've had this 3-month waiting period of just complete SpaceX absence on the launch pad, that was kind of exciting again. It kind of felt like we got a little bit of that spark back. But then, that's just me. Okay. Dietrix, thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing this. Love SpaceX. Love you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Yeah, your super chats or any money donated in whatever capacity or form you choose goes to this channel so I can keep getting you guys content, SpaceX in the news, these live videos. I buy better gear. I go to exotic places like South Texas and hopefully Florida here in the near future to see a launch. So yeah, I built my first ever PC. I wish I could grab my camera and show you. I'm going to be putting this video on Patreon because I've been keeping them in the loop. But I built my very first gaming PC, and I built it gaming because gaming PCs are powerful, and I also need to do big time video editing on it. So I went with an AMD Ryzen 3900X, CPU. First time ever building one of these. I was so nervous, and I documented it. I got the whole thing on camera. When I pushed that power button and saw the RBG lights come on, I was like, oh! I could have ran loops around my house. I was so happy. And then I got Windows 10 installed and had a few problems I encountered, but I overcame and conquered them like a real champ. Oh, is my sound low? Let me turn it up really quick. Thanks for informing me. There. Is that better? Is that better? Yeah, I went with AMD because instead of Intel, because if you want to do like video editing and gaming, I guess AMD is the way to go these days. A few years ago, that wouldn't have been the case, but it is now with their new chips. I also got, 2080 Ti gaming card. This is a beast of a computer now, and it's showing. Like, I could probably stream this in 4K if SpaceX would. I know, we're going to have people that hate AMD. We're going to have people that hate Intel. I have no bias to either. I actually own both. The laptop I was using up until today, this is the first time I'm using this equipment, was Intel. All right, I think it was like a 1070, though. It's kind of old, a few years old. But yeah, I'm all set up. I'm stacked. But here's the thing. Oh, let me know if you can relate to this, because this really bugs me. I got this nice 4K gaming monitor. It's like the only 4K thing I have in my house. And I get it. And it's a ROG Swift, right? And in the screen, in like the bottom left corner section, there's dirt under the screen, like a black speck. And it's not like huge, but it's big enough whenever it's a bright screen. It's like, zoop, there it is. Zoop, there it is. I can't stop looking at it. Oh, it sucks too, because I love the screen. So I'm going to be sending it back, and I already ordered a replacement. It's a bummer. But yeah, I can't stand that. Lord Twiggo. I love that name. That was awesome. Crazy how fast it launched and stage 1 landed, right? I mean, what's nuts is it always blows my mind to think about. From the second the rocket launches, it's using all this power to get its delta V to get it up to speed so it can reach orbit. All right. And then in order to land the booster, it has to bring that speed back down to 0. So it has to completely erase all that speed that it worked for minutes to get up through max Q to get into orbit, so it can land back at 0 miles per hour or kilometers an hour or whatever you want to say. But the thing is, it uses the atmosphere to brake, which is pretty sweet, all right? Using Mother Nature to benefit the rocket. Chris. Fist bump. I like your chicken. He's pretty green. All right, let me pull this back up. I'm going to see if I can make sure I stay out of the way of it. There we go. You also have a ROG Swift. We must be twins. I have 2 dogs, both German Shepherds. One we got from a breeder who is 5 years old. That's Cairo, laying in the doorway there. Oh, you can't see it because I got to transition again. From Minneapolis, Minnesota, that's where we got him. He's a working dog, so he just wants to play all day long. He's even looking at me right now, and I can see it in his eyes. He's like, dude, quit doing what you're doing. Let's play. And then I have Kunu, which is Hawaiian for Chuck, if you ever seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall with Paul Rudd. Kunu we rescued from a pretty bad situation in eastern Pennsylvania, and he's 4 years old, we think. And they got along the very first night. We introduced them to each other, and now they're brothers. If you follow me on Instagram, I post pictures. That's basically all I do on Instagram, is just post pictures of them. So if you like keeping tabs on them, they got their own Instagram now, pretty much. Link in the description. Let's see. Callie Matties. I love how I can just nail these names. It's like my trademark, yo. Love your videos. Thank you so much, heart. Love you. I love the love. Thank you so much for that purple heart. I never got a purple heart in the military, but now I have one. Oh, and while I'm on the topic of purple hearts and dogs, that Belgian Malinois that helped bring down that ISIS leader, Baghdadi, they want to give him his own purple heart, which as a veteran I support. But maybe not all veterans do. But as far as I'm aware, all veterans do. I haven't heard anyone dissent yet. And a lot of people, when these kind of things happen, want to get like German Shepherds or Belgian Malinois. They want to adopt military or police retired working dogs. And like, don't do it, man, unless you're up for it, because they need constant attention and all they love to do is play. So you got to have some energy in you if you want to own one. Hello from France, Guillaume Charassi. Nailed it. Hello from France. Love watching your videos. Thank you, France. Thanks for stopping in. What time is it in France right now? It's got to be in like the pre-evening or evening time. That's a lot of purple hearts. Thank you for that. You guys are awesome. Discord members who are still tuning in, I'm on Discord, or I'm sorry, Patreon members. I'm on Discord right now on our Patreon discussion channel. You have a husky and a black lab. It's cute. I have both those dogs in my family. My brother has 2 huskies, and my in-laws have a black lab and a golden retriever. I literally went to Patreon just to tell you things personally. Things like Marine Corps is better than Navy, and thank you for being a teacher. All right, Jarhead, you're welcome. Nah, thank you, veterans. Happy Veterans Day to my veterans. Dude, I almost went into every branch in the military before I finally settled on Navy. And the thing is, what's ironic about it is my dad was Navy. I come from like a long list of generations, long line of generations that were military. My dad was Navy. And he was like, growing up, he told me all these Navy horror stories. And I made up my mind when I was young. I'm like, when I go in the military, I'm not going Navy. And that's where I went. So I'm a squid. But yeah, I almost went in the Marines. I was at, man, I can't remember what it is. It's been so long now. I went to that place where you take the ASVAB or whatever for the Marines, and right before I had to sign the papers, I backed out when I was in college, and I went into the Navy delayed entry program right after that. I almost even went into the Coast Guard, but they're not really military. Anybody in the Coast Guard here? I'm just kidding. All right, just dogging you. All right. They are military during times of war, which I think is right now still. Other than that, they're Homeland Security, and that's cool too. I'm a former cop. I get it. Yeah. Nothing but love from my people in uniform. MEPS, that's it. Thank you, MEPS. Yeah, I went to MEPS. Man, it's been over 10 years now. I enlisted and I started the delayed entry program for Navy in 2007. I enlisted on Memorial Day. 2009 is when I left for boot camp. It's been 10 years. I can't believe that, man. Never served on a ship, though, so I don't know if I was really Navy. No, I was never on a ship. I was land-based Navy, the SEAL contract. I even went to, when I first got into college at Ohio University, my first year, I transferred after, but I went there to get in the Air Force ROTC program. So there's my Air Force moment. I was only in it for a couple months. And I know all you Air Force people are going to hate me now, but don't worry, my little brother's Air Force. We were doing our morning, PT out on the soccer fields or whatever, lacrosse fields or whatever they have. And I look over, and I wanted to be a fighter pilot, right? I wanted to fly F-22s. And I look over while we're doing our PT, and we're doing like this easy stuff, jumping jacks, whatever. I'm not even breaking a sweat. And over there, across on the other field, is the Army ROTC. And the chicks over there are doing way more than what we were doing. They were doing like hardcore workouts. So I was like, this is GIMP. So after a couple months, I was like, I need something more challenging. And so I left. I mean, again, no offense to Air Force. It would have been more challenging if I would have stayed in it, but I didn't. So then I went into my first police academy for 2 years and got my associate's degree and graduated from there. And then instead of going to work for a police department, I went and got my undergrad degree at Tiffin University in Homeland Security and Terrorism. And that's when I started there, that's when I got into the Navy delayed entry program. But while I was at my first police academy, that's when I started looking at Coast Guard to be a rescue swimmer because I was a swimmer in high school. So I don't know, maybe I just missed swimming when I was in college. I don't know. But I didn't do that. Went to Navy ROTC, got my SEAL contract. Then after I graduated with my undergrad, I went to Navy boot camp because I enlisted. I could have been an officer, but I decided to go enlisted because it's easier to get into buds if you're enlisted. Oh, and that's what most people do. And so after the military, when I was injured, I got med dropped and medically discharged from the Navy. It was during the recession, so it was hard to find a job, and I didn't want to be a police officer. That's what I learned during my time in the police academy. But there just wasn't any jobs out there, and I had a lot of friends on the force, and they kind of persuaded me to join the police force. So I did. I went to Columbus PD, got paid to go to like a 7th-month paramilitary police academy. It was pretty intense. Did boxing and ground fighting. It was pretty sweet. And then did some time on the streets. But then I got out and became a executive driver, bodyguard, whatever you want to call it. And then I became a teacher after that. And here I am. Now I'm a YouTuber. YouTube. But growing up, I always loved rockets. Like, I didn't really have much respect for science in general. I hated school when I was a kid. I just spent my time staring out the window and wishing I wasn't in class. So it's only ironic that I became a teacher. It's just fitting. But I didn't like school. I didn't care for science. But I did love rockets. I always built model rockets with my dad and stuff. And then I feel like I'm sinking in this stupid chair. I gotta fix it. The hydraulics are going out on me. So I was never like turned on, so to speak, by the space shuttle. I kind of thought of it as like taking a Greyhound bus to space. You know, when I was really little, I loved it. I built like Lego space shuttles and stuff. But eventually, I just longed for the days of Apollo. You know what I mean? I love the traditional rockets, the ones that we're back to now, which is awesome. So I never got into NASA and the space shuttle, but I always had this like 1960s space race mentality. That's all I wanted to learn about. And that's what I knew everything about. I watched so many documentaries on that stuff. Stupid dog hair, get out of my face. And then and SpaceX, I knew about them, but they weren't really on my radar until they landed their first booster on that drone ship. And that's when they got on my radar, and I started loving the current age of space I found myself in, because it was back to traditional rockets. And I finally switched for the first time in my life from admiring, you know, the Apollo days in the 60s to, you know, and the Gemini and Mercury days, to where we're at now. And so pumped, and it's only gotten better ever since. And so when people are like, oh, no one ever says this to me, at least not to my face, you're a SpaceX fanboy, I would take it with pride, because it's because of SpaceX that I got back into my enthusiasm for modern day space exploration. So I owe that to SpaceX and Elon Musk. Douglas Klang, has Elon said anything about Starship tickets? Not in a long, long time. I know it's been mentioned, and it's been such a long time I can't even remember what the exact news on that was, but no. It's going to be expensive, though. I think he wants to get it down to the price of a typical house. A couple $100,000 would be the price for a ticket to relocate to Mars. So, if you're not rich, but if you're looking to move, sell your house, move to Mars. There you go. Problem solved. My grandfather was a 26-year Navy vet and in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. That's awesome. Wow, he did all those, huh? That's a rare find. They exist, though. Yeah, I have such respect for our veterans that went through those three wars. I mean, people don't give the Korean War the credit they do. A lot of people don't know much about the Korean War, but it was hell, dude. Like, my grandpa was he was Navy, but he was a corpsman, so he worked with the Marines, and he told me some Navy stories. He's still alive, barely, but he's still alive. I love my gramps. And my dad, like I said, was Navy. My other grandpa was Army. So, and my cousins right now are Air Force. One of them works Black Ops for the Air Force, because he was a firefighter medic before he went into the Air Force. So he had a lot of like valuable skills that they wanted. So now he goes on like couple week-long black bag jobs. It's pretty cool. Can't talk about him, though. Turd. Your family has a long line of service members. Marine Corps is pretty good, but a lot of the time I wish I had went into the Air Force. Yeah. I know after I got hurt in the Navy and got kicked out, got medically discharged, honorably discharged, I tried to get back in as an officer so I could still become a pilot for the Navy. And the officer recruiter, or whatever you call him, was actually all about it. You know, he brought me in, he had me do the test, which I freaking aced. Even the written test and the joystick throttling test, freaking aced it, dude, because I played a lot of simulator games growing up. But then, you know, he tried to convince the chain of command to let me come back in, but they said, no, you're broken. I was like, dang it. But actually, it was probably a good thing, because I probably wouldn't have liked it, being stuck on a ship. So, like, for those of you that aren't veterans or aren't military, you probably know that they like to dog each other and call each other names. It's all good fun. And they like to say, you know, so-and-so has the easy chair force or whatever, and the Navy has the easy. But as unbiased as I can say, the Marine Corps probably has the most difficult boot camp just because you're getting yelled at all the time. But you get yelled at in all the other boot camps too. But I would say that Navy trumps them all in one particular area. Because, okay, Navy boot camp was prison. It was literally prison. And I could say that because I interned in a prison, in a jail, actually. I interned in a jail when I was in the police academy. But in Navy boot camp, you can't leave. Obviously, you can't leave any boot camp, but you can't go outside. You're never outside unless you're just marching somewhere. You don't, you know, I was in a special warfare division in boot camp, and we did all of our PT like in the pool, basically push-ups on the pool deck, all that stuff. We just swam a lot. Even for a high school swimmer like me, it was a lot of swimming. And you know, we go outside and run, but that wasn't actually all that common. It was after boot camp where we would do pre-buds. That's when we did a lot of workouts. So boot camp was a lot of indoors. One person got sick. Everyone got sick. The only reason I was like one of the 3 people in my division that never got sick, and that's because I would sneak off to the bathroom at night. I would risk it. I'd sneak off to the bathroom at night and wash my canteen out with hand soap. And so that was why I never got sick. But we got double barrel pink eye breakout in my barracks, and everyone got that except for me and a couple other guys. So boot camp really sucked in that you were confined together with like 80 some other dudes, and everyone was sick all the time. And I was there during the summer, so over the 4th of July, I was in boot camp, and it was so bad that, you know, we would do laundry in the middle of the night. They'd wake us up for 30 minutes every night just to fold our laundry for no stupid reason. And then during the 4th of July, they wouldn't even like let us watch the fireworks. They cracked a window in our barracks so we could hear them while we folded our laundry. So I don't know. I hated boot camp. I thought boot camp was so much harder than SEAL training. It really was for me. I didn't mind working out and getting hammered like that, but physically hammered. But boot camp was a mental torture for me. I actually looked forward to going to church on Sundays because boot camp was that bad. It was the only time I could get away and just think about something besides military stuff, was going to church. And even then, you had the pastor in uniform, and it was like, this sucks. Let's get me out of here. So this is my last military story for Veterans Day. All right. So the very first night that you arrive at boot camp, they take voluntold people to help out with the incoming recruits so they can give them their boxes, have them ship home their clothes and stuff. So they have like this assembly line thing going on. And like, so they pick certain new arrivals like myself. They like, you come with us, and you're going to stay up all night and help these new recruits come who are getting bussed in. And everyone else that didn't get picked just had to put their head down on like these tables and just basically lay there for hours and hours. I was like, man, they're so lucky. So I was told to come, and basically all I had to do was take the boxes of these incoming recruits, all their stuff, their clothes and their shoes, put them in boxes, and then take them to a FedEx truck outside. And I kid you not, I was already having such a terrible time that I looked at the fence on the horizon of the perimeter. I was like, I'm going for it. I'm just going to run. I'm going to jump that fence. I'm going home. I'm going AWOL on my first night. I didn't really almost do it, but I was thinking about it. I was like, I need to get out of here. This is terrible. But no, I stayed, and I'm glad I did. It did turn out to be, 7.5 weeks of suck. And I know that's nothing compared to like 12 or 10 weeks of whatever, but it was a terrible time for me. And then I got out and went to pre-buds, and that was basically 10 weeks of an Ironman boot camp, but it was fun. I got really, really in good shape for that, and then went to buds afterwards. San Diego. Love San Diego. Expensive place, though. So after I got out, I had to move back to Ohio. That's the state for poor people. That's where I'm from, man. Nope. I got it right up here on my screen, guys. SpaceX is still showing us the Kerbal stuff. So we're good. I can keep that up, I guess. Yeah, take it down. Hey, come here, buddy. You're awake. Yeah. Hey, come here. Say hi. Yeah, good boy. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're gonna stay in? Okay. Where's your brother? So, what'd they say? Like it's T plus 60 so we're about halfway there. That's when they're going to release the Starlink sats, which should be cool to watch again. They should come on a couple minutes before that. Dog eccentric, that's right. That's what we should call it. For those of you that are into like military history or whatever, I feel like I watch it annually, but I could not recommend highly enough Band of Brothers. Excellent show. I love it. World War II. And then it was Tom Hanks' thing and Steven Spielberg. And they also did a couple years later the same kind of thing with the Marines and Japan. I can't remember what that one's called. It's been a while since I watched that one, and I'm having a brain fart right now like I always do when I'm live. But you can check those out, too. Those are cool. Did you ever conceded war? Have you ever looked for a job in SpaceX? And I know all about prison. I am a former submarine. Oh, you guys have it the worst. Submariner. I heard stories from you guys, though. How at least now you can have like Xbox on the submarine or whatever to help pass the time. Oh, can you imagine if you didn't have that or whatever? Maybe that was just a rumor I heard, or maybe they were just pulling my leg. But and now women can be on submarines, so that's cool. Have somebody else to talk to besides guys. What was your question again? Sorry, I have ADD. I don't, but I probably do. Undiagnosed. Ever look for a job in SpaceX? No, not seriously. I mean, I would love to work for SpaceX, but the only way I would ever get a job at SpaceX is if they fired all the people that do these live webcasts and put my ugly face on it. That'd be like the only thing I could do, really. I taught engineering classes like physical science, but I'm not an engineer. So basically, and I know you could do other things. Like if you're a lawyer, you could work for them as a lawyer. And I told Carrie, I was like, maybe you should look into it, Carrie. But yeah, I don't know where I would fit in at SpaceX other than just doing their YouTube channels. But they use their own engineers for their in-house videos. So that's cool. I kind of role play it here on my channel anyway. The Pacific, yes, that's the name of that Steven Spielberg movie of the Marines in World War II. The Pacific, man, that's an eye opener. Like, chime in on this if you want, but toward the end of that series, a Marine talks to a guy in the Army, both World War II veterans. One fought, for the Japan side, and one fought on the Nazi side against the two respective nations, and the guy in the Marines was just like, hey, you guys, or the guy in the Army was like, hey, you guys had it much worse than we did with all the disease and the heat and the fever, and it feels like in World War II, as far as World War II goes, the Nazi war gets all the publicity and not too much attention. It gets given to the Marines, but the Marines arguably had it worse. Both would have sucked to fight in, but I mean, all you have to do is talk about D-Day, and look at that. Nothing as bad as D-Day. Yeah, for my veterans, let me know, because we do this every live episode. Let's not forget our tradition. Let me know, you guys, if you're eating your Hot Pockets or Pop-Tarts, all right? Let me know what you're snacking on right now. It's kind of early, so it might be cereal. But usually it's things like pizza or Pop Pockets. But veterans, if you're going to get your free meal today, let me know where you're getting yours from. I could use some inspiration, because I'm thinking Red Lobster. That's what I'm thinking right now, some Red Lobster. But they're only giving away free appetizers, and I like my endless shrimp. And the biscuits are already free. And that's the reason why you go to Red Lobster. So not sure what exactly I'm doing today. Coffee, waffles. Okay. Just normal waffles? Are they chocolate chip waffles? Come on, I want specifics. Outback. Oh, yeah, Outback. Pasta. I hope you're not American if you're eating pasta already. Texas Roadhouse. Free lunch in Columbus. Okay. Oh, I love Texas Roadhouse. Was it the garlic butter? No, it's cinnamon butter. That's what it is. Oh, Texas Roadhouse cinnamon butter. That's the way to go. It's been a long time. Subway doing something? Okay. I live by a Subway. Yeah, our veterans are treated well. I mean, that's one of the good things about America. Right? We do our veterans justice. We have Veterans Day, which is today for our veterans, and we have Memorial Day in May to remember the veterans that, fought in the good fight and maybe didn't make it. IHOP. The first place I went before I started skydiving, the morning of my first jump ever, I went to IHOP just because it was ironic. Oh, man. And that's why I love parachutes so much, because I'm a former skydiver and current paramotorer. Well, I'm kind of grounded right now because I don't have the equipment, but I love parachutes. Love me parachutes. Someone's at A school right now? Oh, dude. Thank you. Keep up the good fight, man. Stick with it. Do your best. Good luck to you. Or you got your A school today. Okay. So you're fresh out of boot, huh? Good for you. You can't just go to the U.S. and enlist, can you? Yes and no, really. I'm not an expert on this. You have to talk to a lawyer like Carrie, I guess. This is not the type of legal stuff she does, but it's something like serving can help you get citizenship. I think, if I remember right. I don't know. I'm rusty because I was never an immigrant. But it does help you out. I don't know if you have to get like I'm sure you have to be vetted first, of course. You get a green card, maybe. I don't know how that works. I don't know that route that you can take, but there is a way to do it, though. There is. Maybe someone else can answer your question. He asked, "Is there a way to just come to America and enlist in the military?" It's not that easy, but there is a way to do it. Kevin, any paramotor clubs for veterans here in Columbus? Actually, yeah, I was told that Columbus has one of the biggest paramotor community there is in the nation, one of the biggest. And it's true because I just moved out here. I live in a suburb of Columbus, in the northwest part, and I see people flying around my house all the time, and it irks me, man, because I don't have the equipment yet. I finished my schooling. I got up in the air. I got my first 17 flights, but now I have to buy the equipment. I don't have it yet, and I see all these people flying around my house now. And I even saw some hot air balloons the other day. I was like, ugh! This makes me so sad. Someone's drinking Smirnoff right now. What is it's got to be one of those White Claws, right? That I hear so much about. I don't drink, but man, you're a go-getter, all right? Drinking wise. Gummy bears, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff I love hearing. People are eating gummy bears right now. It's hilarious. You make homemade parachutes. Dude, learn how to sew. If you are a teenager or younger watching this and you don't know how to sew yet, tell your mom or grandma or your dad or somebody that knows how to sew to teach you. It is a valuable skill because you can make parachutes for your toys. Trust me, I still do it from time to time. Make parachutes for my model rockets. It's fun. There's one thing I always taught my students when I was a teacher is how to sew parachutes, just so they could learn how to sew in general, because it's a valuable skill to have. What if you get in a car accident and you need stitches stat? You'll be able to give them yourself. Not that you'd want to, but you could. What if the zombie apocalypse happens and you get cut or bitten, and maybe you don't want to bleed out before you turn into a zombie? You need to learn how to sew yourself up before your skin starts to rot off. Battle of the Chosen in Korea. I might have heard of it. I've read this. I I read this book, and now that I'm thinking about it, I can't think of the title. It's a Korean War book. And it really I read it like maybe 10 years ago. It really opened my eyes to the Korean War and how bad it really was. Because even though my grandpa told me stories, I didn't realize it was that bad. And it has a picture on the cover. It's like black and white. It has a soldier wearing his like beanie hat or whatever, and he's got a mug in his hand, and you can tell he's freezing because it's snowing. Someone might know what I'm talking about, but great book. We're still on hold. We'll probably be on hold for another 10 minutes or so before they come back on, 10 to 15 minutes. We're just waiting for the upper stage with the payload to get into its proper orbit, and then they're going to release the sats. Nope, we're still live. There's nothing happening right now. Do not lie to me. Hold on, I got a text. I got to make sure it's not from Carrie. It is from Carrie. She sent me a meme. See, Carrie's not working right now either, just like you guys. I'll have to look at it later. I'm sure it's hilarious. There ain't no laws if you're drinking White Claws. Famous last words. It's 6% alcoholic lemonade. I love me some lemonade. See what SpaceX is tweeting right now. Teenage astronauts on the stream. He's tweeted me. Come on, SpaceX, where are you? SpaceX, there we go. Nope, nothing. Oh, they're back. Hold on one second.
Vehicle, but we are still getting telemetry, so you may see that video cut in and out a little bit right now. But so far we've had a on-time liftoff, completed the first reflight of a fairing, the first time that we've flown and landed a first stage booster, and we also did confirm nominal insertion or good orbit of the second stage. So coming up next is SES-2 in about 20 seconds from now, and this will be the shortest SES we've ever had, lasting just about 1 second. It's a short burn because the deployment orbit for these satellites isn't much different than our initial parking orbit, so we just need a quick burn to get us there.
I didn't even see that in their itinerary. I missed it. It's that short.
Waiting for that SES-2 and SECO-2.
I want to see this chunk of ice float off.
Quick.
Come on, float off.
And back ignition.
And
there it goes.
There it is. And second
There it
engine
goes.
cutoff is complete. Waiting to hear for good orbit. Should hear that call out in a few seconds.
Nominal orbit insertion for satellite deploy.
And there is the confirmation of good orbit. Now that we're in a good orbit, we'll be coasting for the next 15 minutes or so. So we will be back around T+1 hour for the exciting payload deployment of our Starlink satellites.
Sounds good, lady. All right. The Kreators. What's up, Kreators? My producers. All right. My executive producers. Thank you so much. The Kreators, man. Oh, let me turn this volume off. Stop that volume. Okay. I'm eating tacos for breakfast to celebrate coming back from the UK after 23 days. Nom, nom, nom. Dude, I sent you a package. So I hope that was at your doorstep when you got home. Welcome back to Canada. I don't ship things internationally very much, but I have a question for you guys. Maybe you can teach me something. So when I hit 100, well, if I hit 100,000 subscribers, hopefully within this year, that'd be sweet. I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe. Now that SpaceX is launching again, maybe subscribers will go up. But when I hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm staying positive, I am going to be giving away some prizes. And some of them are SpaceX. One of them may be a Lego thing. But here's the thing. Can I easily ship a kit of Lego across borders with customs when they need to know everything that's inside? They need like a list. Because I don't want to list out 1,969 pieces of Lego on the customs form. Because when I shipped something to you, Kreators, in Canada, I had to list everything I put in that box. And so I took some things out because I didn't have enough room to list it all. So that's the question. You would think common sense would overrule, but when it comes to government bureaucracy, there is no room for common sense. So I wouldn't be surprised if someone said, no, they need to know they need to have you list out every single piece in that Lego kit. Just list toy Lego. Okay. All right. Because I'm more than willing to ship this thing internationally, but I am not willing if they made me put one 4x2 Lego brick. I wouldn't think that's the way it is, but after my little custom experience at the USPS the other day, I was like, this sucks. I'm only listing like 4 things, and this is terrible. I hate writing things down. So yeah, hopefully we can get to 100,000K or 100K subscribers, because I've been piling up all these things to give away. So I'm looking forward to that for our 100K special. It should be fun. Yeah, if I can ship this Lego thing to the UK or internationally without listing all the pieces, I will be more than happy to. I want to get it out of my closet. It's in that closet back there. It's just sitting there collecting dust, and every time I, try to get into that closet, I have to move it. And I'm just like, I get that urge to want to build it because it's fun. You may or may not see one on screen right now. I'm not sure. I'm not showing you now. I'm not going to tease you. Why would I do that? That's mean. You just wait. Wait. My patient children. You like my mug? My mom got it for me. Dragon. There we go. Dragon. SpaceX. I have a lot of SpaceX stuff. So I will tell you one thing I'll be giving away, and that's a SpaceX Dragon hat. I want one for myself. And I tried to order one for myself. It just has like the Dragon logo on the hat bill that you see right here. And they're hard to get. They've been out of stock forever, and they finally got some in stock the other week. So I ordered one. I have a large head. And they also sell smalls and mediums. But I was like, I need a large or extra large. So I ordered one, and I got it. And on the bottom of the bill, they had the sticker, and it said large, extra large. But on the tag on the back, it said small, medium. So they got their sticker mixed up. So I emailed SpaceX. I was like, hey, can I switch this for a hat that fits me? And they're like, oh, we're out of stock, but we refunded you that. And I was like, that's cool. They only refunded me what the hat was worth. They didn't refund me the shipping. So, screw you too, SpaceX. But I was like, whatever. I'll give it away to one of my subscribers that has a small head. So I have that to give away. So if you got a small head, make sure you turn into the 100,000 subscriber special that's coming up in about a year. Oh my gosh, he's behind me. He snuck up on me like a shark. Kunu has yet to make a cameo. We got to get Kunu in here. Kunu! Where you at, buddy? If he's downstairs on the couch, he's not going to come up. You lazy. Hey, go get your brother. Go get him. Kunu bears. There he comes. I think he was on the bed next door. There he is. There's Kunu. Oh, yeah. Row, row, row. Row, row, row. You're a good boy. It is hot in here. It is hot in here. It's probably because I'm wearing a sweatshirt and you're wearing fur coats. Yeah. Yeah, dragon hats. I'm not surprised. I'm sure it's sold out. Probably will be for a while. It looks sweet. I want one. I like this one too, though. I got like this in black, blue, and white. But I want a dragon one. Yep. They are good doggos. They are very nice doggos. Outside my house, I have a rock that I gave Carrie for our anniversary. It's a big stone I had engraved. It says, home to a veteran, a lawyer, and German Shepherds. Tread lightly. but these guys, they're such babies. They love everyone that they see. So if we ever had an intruder, they'd probably just lick their face or whatever. But maybe they'd surprise me and attack them and kill them. I don't know. I've never had someone break in my house before. But Carrie is more ferocious than these guys, right? If there's any reason why someone should not break into my house, it's because I have a wife that is Carrie. It'd be the last thing they ever do as a free person. Because after you get out of prison, Carrie will sue you till you're bankrupt and then sue you again. Check Discord really quick. Okay. Yep, Elon Musk does love his memes. Tree ban. Yeah, I heard of this tree thing, and I probably should have heard more about it because I'm a YouTuber. But apparently a bunch of YouTubers went on this kick about planting a bunch of trees. It's okay, though, because we're planting trees on my property anyway. So I participated even though I wasn't participating. Elon said he was going to plant like $1 million worth or 1 million trees or something. Good for him. Trees are good, okay? It's sad that they're burning them down in the Amazon, okay? Kreators is back. Few things. One, Ty, very much. Thank you very much. Ty, thank you very much for the package. I haven't received it yet. When did you ship? Oh, I shipped it like a month ago almost. I also just woke up. Can you mind going through what people have missed so far in the stream? Oh, you just woke up. Yeah, so this is Starlink 1. So they launched 60 Starlink sats in orbit. They're in the coasting phase right now. They just did their second burn. All right. And that's basically it. They landed the booster on the drone ship successfully. It came in hot, but it landed successfully, so that's awesome. And then, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the stream right now. We're still not live. They didn't catch the fairings. They're letting them land in the water, and they're going to fish them out like they did the last time, just because the seas were too rough for the drone ships. So that kind of sucks, but the good news is we're going to have more launches, a heavier launch cadence coming up, so we'll have more opportunities. We won't have to wait another 3 months. Guaranteed. That is a Kevin guarantee. If we wait 3 months, I'm going to quit YouTube. Promise. I'm going to nail this name. Castimonie. Hello from Norway. All the bust. Eirik. I bet I said that name right, though. I bet I nailed that first name of yours. Eirik. I like that name. I'm not allowed to quit. You don't dictate my life. That's the slogan we have running in my house right now. Carrie likes to tell me, you don't dictate my life, because one time we got in a fight when we first started dating. And I go, Carrie, you don't dictate my life. And now it's just a running gag in our house ever since. So if I want to quit, I will quit. I don't want to quit, though. I love this job. I love talking to you guys. You guys are awesome. I love the whole space community. It's just great. All right, let me switch it over here to me big so we can prepare. Let me smaller this screen. I feel like it's taking up too much of my chin. There we go. That's a little too small. I'm going to perfect this thing. A little bigger. Yeah. That's nice. Don't be a quitter. Hey, is Lab Padre here? Is Lewis here? I see people saying stuff. Yay, what's up, South Padre? Or up South Padre. Lab Padre, South Padre in the house. What's up, Lewis? Lewis got a new command center. For those of you that don't follow Lab Padre on YouTube, check him out, man. He's the reason why we can get all these live Starship updates, in Boca Chica. Awesome guy. I met him and his wife a couple times when I was down there in Boca Chica. Great people. Deserves your support. Trust me. Going above and beyond to get us live feed out there, even during the storms that they've been having, knocking out power and such. Got an email. So this is different. So I'm signed up for SpaceX's media casting calls or whatever they do. Not casting calls, like their media thing. So they invite people to launches and stuff. I thought about going to this launch, but I was like, I haven't live streamed a launch in a long time with you guys, so I'll sit this one out. But they sent me this email. I'm gonna pull it up so I can read it to you guys. SpaceX sent me this email. It's just for media people, so I mean it's nothing like I can't share with you, but it's something about a call that you could be on. I'm gonna try calling it actually, now that since we're not really doing anything right now. I'm gonna see what it does. Oh, where'd it go? Yeah, so I guess you can call and be in today's countdown nets. whatever countdown nets is. Maybe it was that other video on SpaceX that we saw. Is it still up or not? No, not that one. I closed out of it. Gosh darn it. Let me come back to it. SpaceX. Yeah, it's still up. Maybe it was this one. I don't know. Back. Off. Big screen. So I'm going to try calling this just so I want to see. Well, it's a countdown net, so it's not even going to be working right now. Next time I'll have to check that out. I'm curious what it is exactly. I love it when SpaceX invites me to stuff. I feel like I'm involved. Like, yes, SpaceX at least recognizes that I want to be in the community. But going to, I haven't had a chance to really talk to you guys about this. Going to Elon's Starship presentation was an experience and a half. I mean, like I've never been to a launch before. I still have never been to a launch. But this is the first time I actually got up close and personal with a rocket, and the fact that it was Starship was awesome. Like I could walk right up to it. It is huge, man. It doesn't pictures does not do these rockets justice, because driving up on Highway 4 to Boca Chica, it's like this open area of just, wilderness, and then on the horizon as you're driving, you can see this towering structure on the horizon. And it's Starship, and it's just like, it blows your mind. And as you drive up and get closer, obviously it gets bigger. And then to get bused to the facility and then to walk right up to it, you're like, this thing's going to explode. This thing's supposed to go into the air. Nothing's going to lift this thing, but it's crazy how strong and how powerful these Raptor engines are. Insane in the membrane. But yeah, that whole Starship presentation was amazing. Getting to see Elon Musk. I didn't get to meet him, but I was put back in the media area, and we were gated off like animals. But the media is animals, let's be honest. But it was cool to be there and be in that atmosphere. I had a lot of SpaceX employees who might be watching this right now, who actually work on Starship, come up to me and shake my hand and say they love watching the channel, which was crazy to me. I was like, you have to stare at this Starship every day in the blazing sun, and then you go home and watch my YouTube videos about Starship. Wow, you are a dedicated SpaceX fan. That's awesome. These people are so nice. They say Texas people are the nicest people on the planet. Fact, they are. I have yet to meet one. Well, I can't say one. I was going to say I have yet to meet one angry Texan, but there is a Texan down there in Boca Chica who's not nice to anybody. She will remain nameless. But dude, it was such a great experience, and I got to meet Tim Dodd. Tim Dodd's such a good guy. He's probably live streaming right now. So nice. He kept an eye on me, and they're back. Let me turn the volume up.
Steve Starlink satellites. Now, after deployment, the satellites will appear to be kind of clumped together, but that's totally normal. As you can probably imagine, 60 separate separation systems
UFO,
is super
UFO.
inefficient. It adds mass, it adds complexity, and therefore it adds cost. Instead, we deploy them all at once, allowing them to slowly disperse from one another, and to do so without the use of complex mechanisms. They might even bump into one another, which, if that happens, is totally okay. The satellites were designed with this possibility in mind.
This is awesome. I love this. I love reenacting the deployment of these Starlink sats in Kerbal. It's so much fun to flip your rocket just to let satellites fly.
Let's listen in and see if we have any word on the deployment.
Jalen Duncan, will SpaceX beat NASA back to the moon? Cargo human? I'm pretty confident, yes. Right? They don't have to deal with the same bureaucracy that NASA has to.
And as you just heard, we have confirmation that the tension rods have been released.
There we go. Let's see it.
Let's see if we can get some video of that. That would be really awesome.
You had it, and then you cut away. They cut away on purpose. There we go. Now, as they make their way off, next they'll start to slowly drift apart and then deploy their singular solar array pointed at the sun to begin charging their batteries. And over the course of the coming weeks, the satellites will use their onboard ion propulsion systems to raise their orbit to 550 kilometers, align into their orbital planes, and properly space themselves out to providing internet coverage on Earth.
And with that, that brings us to the end of our webcast for today. So to recap, we had a successful 4th launch of a booster and a successful landing of that same booster. We reflew a fairing successfully for the first time. Both of those things are pretty cool, but also cool, you just saw we deployed 60 more Starlink satellites. This puts us one step closer to being able to offer Starlink internet service to customers across the globe, including people in rural and hard-to-reach places who have struggled.
Sign me up.
for access
Ohio
to
is
high-speed
rural.
internet.
Rural. The state of Ohio is just rural.
Thank you to the 45th Space Wing for range safety, the FAA for licensing today's launch, as well as the FCC for licensing our first operational Starlink satellites. We'd like to thank all of our viewers for tuning in, and again, our deepest gratitude to all of our veterans, both here at SpaceX and across the country. Follow our website and social media.
Thank you, SpaceX. So, yeah, so to kind of expand on your question, will SpaceX beat NASA back to the moon? If I had any money, any at all, I would say, yes, I bet on SpaceX. And I think NASA kind of knows it too, because until recently, NASA was pretty silent, pretty hush on Starship. Like they almost didn't want to acknowledge it. Hey, we're gonna watch. We're gonna go right to Tim Dodd's video now. There's Tim Dodd. Hey, that's not fair, man. YouTube just went straight to Tim Dodd's video. They didn't go. They didn't go to this live stream. It would have been like Inception. It would have been fun. Oh, Tim, he's awesome. I need to get him off my screen though because he's distracting me with his sex appeal. All right. So, yeah. I mean, I feel like Starship is an ace in the hole. Right? Like, what does NASA have? They have plans. They have the SLS. That they just put their engines on, all right? But it's a $2 billion rocket that's not reusable. Good luck getting more than 1 or 2 launches out of that thing before it gets shut down. Again, bureaucracy, but that's not exactly bad red tape or bureaucracy, to be honest. Like, that's a waste, dude. Like, when you have a reusable Starship that's already being built and it's well into production, it's like the prototype's already been tested, Starhopper. And then you compare that with, something that's cheaper. You compare that to SLS that's so expensive. It's like, this is dumb. And I get it. It's like a jobs creator, but those are that's like fake job making now. Come on now. Again, and this is hard for me to say because I love NASA. Like like I said earlier in this show, I was a huge NASA fan and still am of the 1960s. I think NASA has lost their way in that dead period between. After the space shuttle was built, I think they got off track. And I think that's obvious. I think everyone can agree with that for the most part. I mean, the shuttle was cool in a way. It was reusable, but it wasn't efficient, economically speaking. It still cost billions of dollars to refurbish it. And I feel like NASA's just making maybe even not the same mistakes, but maybe even worse mistakes by going back to the traditional rocket, but not a reusable thing. So, yeah. I mean, they're doing the right thing. I think Jim Bridenstine's awesome as administrator. I've said this from the first time I looked into who he was as administrator. I think he's a great guy. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he has to play politics. He's got to balance out, his biases. He does a good job doing that, and he's doing the best of what he can. But Artemis, they're doing the right thing by contracting and using NASA as like a contractor now to not so much build the technology themselves, but have other private companies do it, like Blue Origin, SpaceX, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, whatever. But they're all behind, and no one's on the level that SpaceX is on. Not even close. I mean, I think the closest you have is like Blue Origin. Obviously, you have Starliner, but you see that parachute test. It was a successful test that Boeing had with Starliner, sure, but it still looks sketchy, and I wouldn't trust it with my life. I mean, you even looked like you had the hypergolics. It just looked bad. It had the hypergolics like flowing around the capsule as it was descending. A parachute didn't work. It landed next to the hypergolics, which will kill you, give you their carcinogens. I know that's not like a huge issue. They would have been protected or whatever, but still, it's like you compare that to SpaceX's launch pad abort that they had several years back. Like, this is years old now. And SpaceX's was like pristine, basically. The parachutes were a little the deployment of the parachutes was a little subnominal, but they still deployed, and all of them deployed, and it still landed in the ocean right off the coast. So, I mean, I think it's good that we have so many different companies competing because, competition is good. It's innovative. It inspires innovation. But, if I had any money, I'd say SpaceX with Starship will get to the moon way before NASA and their Artemis program. And if the Artemis program does get to the moon on time, it will probably be because of Starship. All right. That's just how it is, in my opinion. All right. But again, nothing but love to these other companies. I wish them the best, and I wish them luck. I don't want anyone to fail unless it's good failure. All right. Did I miss any other super chats? Lab. Yes, we're on Lab. So, Lewis, thanks for all your news flashes. Rock on from South Padre Island. If you're ever in South Texas, Boca Chica or South Padre, send Lewis a chat or whatever. Get a hold of him. Say you're coming. Dude is the nicest guy ever. Loves his community. And I love him. Just an awesome dude. Thank you, Lewis. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for all of the sacrifices you make for the rest of us in the communities to get us that live feed so we can stay up on what's going on with Starship. Even Elon Musk is a fan of Lab Padre. So if you're not a fan of Lab Padre, be a fan of Lab Padre. It was funny because when I was in Boca Chica for the Starship presentation, I was talking to Lewis, and Lewis was like, he was telling me about his encounter with Elon and their little private conversation. He was like, yeah, Elon told me that the easiest way for him to check on the progress of his Starship is just to watch our stream. I'm like, that's awesome. Talk about job security. So that's really cool. I think that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I think we had a pretty good turnout. Over 1,000 of you before I even started streaming. That's great. It's good to see the community back in action. It's good to see SpaceX launching rockets successfully again after 3 months of nothing. All right. Well, I guess we had 3 months I guess we had Starship and Starhopper in there to keep us entertained. Alistar Grantham's back. SpaceX and Boeing should get the same amount of money, and when they run out, that's it, and see who wins. Love the show and the dogs. Thank you so much. I agree. I mean, yeah, obviously they want to have multiple businesses, keeping the space program alive, but it needs to be acknowledged politically and economically that SpaceX is the cheapest way to go. So, and they're the most innovative, obviously. So throw them a bone, people. All right. Well, I guess the dogs don't want to say goodbye to you guys, but I will. Thank you for tuning in. I got to get my outro ready. Here we go. The next launch might be later this month. We'll see. Keep an eye on my SpaceX and the news episodes. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Follow me on Twitter if you're not, because that's where I post some interesting news from time to time in between my episodes. And then Instagram if you want to see the doggos. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Until then, Godspeed to you.